And welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Hoot Video Live Edition. We're not live, but no, video edition. Yeah,
We're live together.
Yeah, we are. We're slowly upgrading the backgrounds of everybody involved, except Riley, who still looks as though either fell into a volcano.
He got a giant thing that's backwards. Show us.
Yeah, it's a whiteboard, and I was gonna write something funny on it, but I realized I didn't have any dry erase markers. So.
I thought you just realized you weren't funny.
No, that's you.
I thought it was like a large size print from IKEA that you just were embarrassed to show us.
Oh no, just this.
Well, if you're following this on YouTube, you can see everybody who's here. If you're listening, I'm very sorry. Well, actually, maybe not as sorry as if you're watching, because then you have to see our ugly faces.
Yeah, listening is still the superior way to deal with this.
Yeah. I have Benjamin Turner there with a beautiful sunset looking away from the berm.
Yeah.
We have Camille Bassett, not our only pro soccer player on the pod tonight, but with a sunset looking across the field at Werner Park.
Ben and I are both at Werner Park right now.
Yeah.
With other people, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Ryan the Big with an excellent scarf wall behind him. Reverend Dr. Super Producer, who fell into a volcano, doesn't have a bald cat yet, but has a empty dry erase board behind him. And we're joined by man of two matches, JP Scearce.
Man with the golden forehead.
So we are now, well, I guess we're not deep into the season, but we're Open Cup game and win in, and a first game away against Madison, which
we're undoubtedly in amongst it.
We are amongst it. That is fair to say. The news, we have some news. There's a couple things. We drew after the win that we talked about last week, which it seems about it was 50-50 people watched us, 50-50 people heard us. Either way, you got the news. We beat the Des Moines Menace, and we're drawn against the Chicago Fire.
Breaking news: we drew Chicago Fire.
Breaking
away.
Away, which is bullshit.
As good sporting Kansas City fans, we can say "Wiz on the fire."
We're not going to get into sporting Kansas City fans because that's a pod all to its own, especially after this past weekend.
Have you procured a private plane yet for the pod?
I have not. I believe that was Camille's duty, and Camille has failed us miserably to get a private jet to take us to Chicago.
2,000. I'm ready to pay in, guys.
JP, you're our last hope. Or what?
I mean,
the private
those Cornell connections, bro.
Yeah, this is USL League 1. There's no rules on charter flights, guys.
We don't have a CBA, so I mean, there's definitely no rules on it.
Yeah.
So that game will be 4/19 at 7 p.m. at Soldier Field, where they will open up, I believe, 1/10 of the capacity to fans.
You think 4,000 people are going to be there?
It'll be like a Chicago Bears game.
Yeah, how many people go to Chicago Fire games normally? I'm gonna look this up.
I mean, why would they go to a Bears game? Like, there's no reason to go to Soldier Field except to watch Union Omaha.
Oh, agreed.
I mean,
I saw U.S. Honduras, a World Cup qualifier, 2009 in Chicago in Soldier Field, and I saw Stu Holden's last ever meaningful match when he blew out his knee in the Gold Cup final there as well. I've had some fun memories at that stadium.
I can respect Stu Holden. I'm just glad you didn't say Twellman, because then this is going to be a very different pod.
Can I tell a really fun Taylor Twellman story, actually? So, Nick,
Just 2 minutes.
Taylor Twellman, known Madison supporter.
yeah. So I never liked Taylor Twellman. I don't think anybody ever did, outside New England Revolution. So Revolution's in Colorado. It's season 1. As a Rapids season ticket holder, and he gets the ball for a throw in, like goes way out of bounds, like 30 rows up, and some like 13-year-old girl takes the ball and throws it back, like perfectly executed throw, and it bounces and hits him in the back as he's standing on the line, and like she's mortified, and like the crowd goes crazy, of course, and he's like, "What's going on?" Anyway, Taylor Twellman.
Hey, that's a much better story than anything he's ever told on air. So
who all watched the draw? Because I have a question in this outline, but I want to know who. Okay. Worst conducted draw ever? Oh, JP, don't answer that question. Worst conducted draw ever?
Yeah, you can mute yourself if you need. I thought I've never seen something that I can recall where the 2 amateurs that were brought in off the street did a like order of magnitude better job than the person who was paid to be there and run the thing. The guy who was hosting looked like he was pouring sweat and, other bodily fluids into his clothes.
So my biggest question is, Europe, FIFA all use the screw apart soccer balls. You can buy them apparently because they exist in both FIFA, in Qatar, in Europe. Like they're out there. Why the fuck are we using little like cards that you can't guarantee are being shuffled, that you can write things on to say, pick this one first? Like, so many things wrong.
It was
so
awful.
many things wrong.
It may have been a last minute attempt to showcase this on video, honestly, but my favorite thing about it was their little comment about my one positive is that I enjoyed their little comment on the birds. They're like, look at all these little birds. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice comment. Thank you.
I liked DJ Citizen Jane's watch.
That was a good watch. Yeah.
I asked her on Instagram what it was. I don't think she ever responded to me. I'm going to check. Double check.
Hopefully she's listening, because
I also liked how the awkward guy kept referring to her as Citizen Jane the whole time.
It's DJ.
Yeah.
DJ Citizen Jane. Like full name or nothing.
You mean awkward guy? Isn't he like the guy that runs the USC?
What
the commissioner?
USOC?
Well, he is a USLC announcer. Like he calls games on ESPN Plus. Was it Melma?
No, that guy's never on camera.
Well, he's never on camera, but his voice is there.
I think
Melma.
they took a pool of 100 soccer fans who are afraid of public speaking and did a random draw.
No, I wasn't talking about the Miami CF fan or
bald guy
who was the Miami FC fan.
That was awesome.
Like that was fine. I wish they'd gotten a Rowdies fan, like done one for each pot.
Himself, you're talking about old Steel Fingers himself, open 64 envelopes with 0 paper cuts
that we know of.
Well, I think that's also telling that there are no paper cuts, no injuries. There were no Band-Aids at the end of that. It might have been rigged, so Union Omaha didn't get the favorable draw.
Weren't we the only people who were drawn against someone they couldn't face?
Yes, we were, and I believe we were the only USL 1 team who had the ability to host that was not drawn to host.
Yeah.
JP, when you saw Union Omaha being drawn against Madison, what were your thoughts?
It's funny because it was literally on the way to Madison where we were all watching the draw. And I see they draw our team, and then Madison is right there. And I'm like, I think I was telling Dalton actually, like, dude, we're playing Madison again. Like, what the like what the heck or whatever. And then like someone from I think Jay is like saying something how we're playing Chicago or something, and then I look again and I guess they moved us over to play Chicago, and it was kind of exciting that because I mean we want to play the best teams, and it was exciting that we drew against an MLS team. But yeah, I'm happy it wasn't Madison again.
I think that gets to the next point on here. Thoughts on it? Like you're happy, JP, happy to play against a top level opponent that finally they can see that Owls are greater than Fire. I mean, this is a USL League One fact.
Yeah, the well-known.
Well-known. I mean, you can look anywhere in history. Owls are just greater than Fire. But to the rest of you, what are your thoughts? A Fire squad that has team that's traditionally taken the US Open Cup very seriously, playing at Soldier Field, their home venue, which they can maybe fill 5% of on a normal day.
So the last game had 24,000 people at it, and it was Orlando SC. So I imagine it was weather that they improved over the like 19 or 12 or 19,000 they had at their first game.
But
okay,
I think Chicago's an interesting team because if you look at just their record so far this season in MLS, they look like they're having a really good season. And then you look at their score lines, and it's a lot of 0-0 draws or 1-0 matches. You know, I think they just lost their first match not too long ago. But, you know, it's like I think the most goals they've had in one game is 2. So I don't know that we have to fear them.
Clearly, you didn't watch the game against Sporting KC, but I
did not.
What match was that they lost? Was that during the international break where Giardon was playing?
They just lost on the 9th to Orlando, and they were down a man for part of that match too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily keep up with the MLS side personally, but what I think from that draw is that for the past 2 years, we wanted to have a US Open Cup. And especially last year, we felt Union Omaha has been able to show their worth and have not had the opportunity to. So I feel like just no matter what, this year, being able to play an MLS team in the US Open Cup is just exciting. I think it's something new. Imagine if we had to play Madison again, so just getting to play in Chicago is going to be something exciting, especially for the new guys. It's just like, oh, this is professional. This is the real deal.
And I never want to say that I never would be happy with a loss, but this is one of those things where I feel like as a team and an organization, it's kind of a no-lose situation for a USL 1 squad in general. If you go and you have a good showing and you lose 1-0, people think you look amazing anyway. If you beat them, people are super excited. But if Chicago somehow beats us really bad, no one's going to be, super confused why that happened either.
Yeah, nobody was like, oh, why did Sacramento Republic thrash this team of NAIA students?
And I feel like, JP, I mean, I'm sure you feel it's fun to play a challenging component as well. Just having that competition to be able to face and look forward to is a great experience.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's from my previous 2 years where we played Minnesota in preseason, like it's fun playing against those teams because you see they have these players who have played in Europe, played in South America, and you just see the difference in the level. And you like as a player playing against them, you want to be at that level. That's where you want to be and play in that high level. So it'll be an exciting game for sure. And for our first competitive game against the MLS team, it'll be good for all of us, a good experience.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to break into my anger on this.
Oh, I got a question for JP on this too. But you want to rant?
You go with that. My anger is just going to keep stewing.
Yeah, fair enough. Are you more excited for the players you could potentially play against, or playing at a pretty famous venue?
It's a little bit of both. Obviously, like Soldier Field is such a historic place, and that's obviously exciting. But just playing against an MLS team is always exciting for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of other guys feel the same way.
Even if you see former Madison goalkeeper Chris Brady.
He ain't seen the field.
It's the Open Cup. You don't know.
Well, apparently, according to Jay, recently he said he spoke to someone from the Chicago Fire organization, and they're going all out against us. So we'll see. It sounds like they're going to have a pretty strong squad against us.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
It does.
All right, I'm going to break into my anger on this. It's bullshit in the Open Cup that, unlike almost every other real football association in the world, that the lower side, if it has the ability to host, is not hosting, because that is so much lost revenue for Union Omaha that could really help build soccer in the Metro, bringing in the Chicago Fire with the potential to play guys like Xherdan Shaqiri, Ryan's FC Colton fanboy. Like
the field is Shaqiri sized, but he's not going to play on a baseball pitch.
Oh no, exactly. And that's my second part I'm pissed off about is we go to Soldier Field, they've got a game Saturday, they've got a game following Saturday, they're playing on a Tuesday, but they don't have to travel. Like they can bring out everybody. We've got to travel. We're going from South Georgia to Chicago back to our first ever home game or first home game of 2022. Like there's a serious disadvantage for the lower seeded side, a lower tier side, that it just shouldn't be there. It should be a home field advantage for the team that has a player budget of, maybe 2 million on a good day, versus the one that pays one of their players $2 million on a bad day.
Yeah, but what happens if Shido stops a shot by Shaqiri? Come on now.
And
what happens if Shido punches a Shaqiri? Like that's what I want to see, because
guys, what happens when JP tackles Shaqiri? Let's talk about what's really going on.
What is going on?
Outside the box, JP. Outside the box.
What I like to consider is that you have to think about how exciting it is, like JP had mentioned, to play in Chicago, though. I mean, it would be super exciting to have them play at home, obviously, but it's all part of the experience as well. And the draw was totally fair, Luke. I mean, come on, we all saw it.
I'm sorry, the video was skipping too much for me to tell it was fair.
The guy picked envelopes.
Yeah, it's really cool to play at Soldier Field.
How have we made it this far without mentioning that the guy touched multiple envelopes every single time? It was like,
Yep. It's really cool to play at Soldier Field. However, if you want to play at Soldier Field in the third tier, you play for MLS next. Like USL League 1, we got rid of the MLS 2 sides so we can play in front of rabid fan bases with independent sides, not in an empty 40,000, 50,000 person stadium. Like they're not even opening up enough seats to make it worth your time. Like they're losing money by hosting it there.
Oh, this is getting so good.
Are you going to the game, Luke?
If I can get somebody else to drive back.
Oh.
Like if I can get somebody who will split the night shift, I will go.
Let's go, Luke.
You want to drive with me, Riley? I got
if it's
Tuesday
your car.
off if you do.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It's next week, right?
Riley, but you can work all the way there in the car.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I could,
he says no.
Theoretically.
What is it? Anyways, that's enough time spent on this. Tune in, ESPN Plus, or go to Soldier Field, where you can get tickets for $15 in the away supporters section to go see Union Omaha kick the shit out of the Chicago Fire.
Wait, one last thing. I just want you all to know that Soldier Field's official website is soldierfield.net.
.net. And
Look,
we're going
look,
there.
it's a historic.
That's the
venue.
only place Union Omaha is kicking the ball. Is in the net.
All right.
All right.
Talk about
next
kits.
bit of news. Kits. What do you think? JP, you don't have to answer. You're under contract. You can just smile and nod.
They
or
looked
say they're the greatest kits you've ever worn.
They looked way better on TV than the yellow ones.
I think the white one. I think the white ones look pretty sharp.
I love them.
Can I be completely honest? It's my favorite Union Omaha kit so far.
Oh, I thought that was going to be bad by
No,
a precursor.
Yeah,
it's definitely my that and the original black one. Those are my top two. But I really like white kits with really simple designs on them.
Riley, I think that sunburn indicates you've made a lot worse decisions today than that one.
Oh, this is from Saturday. That's how bad this was.
Luke, how do you feel about the kit?
Meh.
I mean,
it was worse to see in person than it was from afar.
Worse?
Yes.
Interesting.
Not on the players, but people who picked it up at the pro shop or team shop. I'm not calling it by the actual name of that because don't go on Google and Google what the team store is called.
Nazis here.
What?
Answer the pot.
What would you have wanted in an away kit if it were up to you?
We have one new kit this year. Like something that just moved away from simple. Like not significantly.
We're still a Nike. We're still Nike. Like it's
yeah.
You got a
But
catalog
throw a Volt sleeve on it. Like I'm wearing a very simple kit.
Custom. Yeah.
You have you have to think about how difficult it was to see the Volt kits away on TV and then throw on a Volt sleeve. They're going to look like they have no arms running around because it blends in with the grass. So it's going to be like white torsos. What I think is cool is the Volt addition to the X Cancer. Personally, I think that was a great touch and that was good design. Personally,
that was definitely great, and that was something I talked with Luke Nordquist from X Cancer last year, where having that logo the way they have it, it is a good way for them in their own merchandise, X Cancer's own merchandise, to represent different struggles against other cancers. So like pink for breast cancer, different colors like colon cancer, et cetera, and be able to change the color of the X there. But I have no problem with not being able to see the arms. No handballs. Can't see the arms. No handballs. We're good.
It'll be like some
weird
FIFA glitch.
The refs are there. They're not at home watching.
No.
The 360p definition. VHS quality.
These are USL League One refs. They're absent half the game anyway.
All right.
JP's move on, please.
No news on the mascot, right? We have no news on the mascot.
Unless JP wants to break something here today.
What?
Do you know the name of the mascot? We're just curious.
I have no clue.
Yeah. This is the most we talk about it. It's fine.
The question is, are you going to get a second contract to be the mascot?
That's me.
Yeah. All right.
You heard it here first, folks.
Free money.
JP Scearce is not the mascot.
It's not Oma.
All right.
We're breaking news.
News broken. Signings. Well, signing. They haven't announced the second one yet, so we're not going to bring that up. Although second one, very cool for Omaha. Just going to say that. Might be a NASCAR driver. Not sure.
Yeah. A rainbow wire.
But Kamal Malcolm, as we announced last week, has been announced. Worst kept secret in Omaha since the last worst kept secret, Gabe.
Yeah.
We're not very good at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. The team's great at keeping secrets.
Players.
Yeah. JP was good and didn't give himself away. when he was announced. Any one of the 3 times.
You didn't
Like-
change your Instagram bio immediately
Yeah.
before the announcement.
Look, it's okay. Excited.
Coming to
no.
Omaha, they probably just don't think that people are excited to know, you know, they're probably like, oh, it's just Omaha. And then little do they know there's a huge fan base here, you know?
They don't know that we sussed out Kevin Piedrahita off of a photo that was just his torso.
Yeah.
Like,
what did
there's
somebody
the
say?
sleuths.
The Omaha Parliament Detective Agency is undefeated.
Yep, that is accurate. But
Yeah.
no, Kamal, have you had a chance to play with him yet, JP? I know he just arrived last week in town. I'm not sure if
Yeah, I've seen him in training. We haven't really played as much since we've started all our games and stuff. So we haven't really played, but from the little I've seen him, he's a good player, very experienced. He's a good finisher too, which is probably what stood out to me the most. He's gonna score goals for us for sure.
Can't all be on your
is
shoulder.
he going to? Yeah. I guess, is he going to score more goals than you? Because right now, I think you're tracking better than both Evan and Greg were last season.
I mean, I hope he does. That's the reason they brought him. He's a striker. They brought him to be that goal scorer. So I hope he does score.
Good dodging the question. You can tell you're a 3-season pro.
JP, we're just happy that this season you're scoring in the regular season.
Yeah. Did you deliberately not score in the preseason?
I did. And that's what I told almost all the guys, that I'm saving them for the actual season. Even talking to like guys from last year, like Greg and all them, because they've seen me. They've seen like all social media how I'm scoring, and been telling them that. But yeah, hopefully there's more than just these last 2.
All right.
Well, since you can't bet on individual goal scorers, I'm glad you got it out of the way, because last year I was ready to mortgage the house and, just keep doubling every week. It's gonna pay off.
I'm just really happy you're scoring, because I still have to reach out to Hugo to offer him his case. But I'm really glad you've scored 2, because I covered you season 1.
Yeah.
But I do have one question before we break into the breakdown of Madison game. Who's going to benefit more from Joe Brito's amazing crosses, you or Kamal?
If it's in the air, I would say me. I haven't seen Kamal's aerial game, so I can't really say if he's good in the air or not. But I mean, hopefully I could benefit off of it the most.
All right. So far, so good.
Luke, how do you feel about the signing? Are you concerned about certain numbers?
He's the only player on the team older than me. I'll just say that. And I'm not young.
That's okay. On my screen, Ben and I are at the top, and that's also where our ages are.
Yeah,
They're at the top.
Yeah.
So.
We don't mind his age as much, because we remember feeling young at that age.
I remember having a 3-year-old at that age. You're right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Anyway, all right.
All right. Madison.
Hey, you guys go to Gemma's?
No, I went to Essen House.
Okay. I only ever did stuff around the Capitol.
Essen House is kind of close to the Capitol. It's on the Isthmus. Fun word.
One of 2 cities. One of my I had a buddy who lived there, and first thing he told me is one of 2 cities in the world on an isthmus.
Well, not enough bridges.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's
not really a bridge.
I really.
It's an isthmus town.
But all right.
You guys like how my TV?
Ryan, I'm gonna let you break this down, because you created everything, and I'm just gonna go on certain points and
Sure.
yeah.
Well, so I mean, right from the start, I think this is probably I asked this question. I'll give you my opinion first. I think this might be the most physical we've seen Madison in our seasons. I mean, I think in the second minute there was a foul by Madison. It started off heavy. JP may or may not have been bleeding out of his nose. I don't know. You definitely got hit in the face. But
I thought he scored with his face. That's what I told my kids. They're like, really? I was like, yeah, I think he scored right with his face. And then I was like, no, he just got punched in the face.
I mean, I don't know. Camille, you were nodding. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is probably the most physical they've looked?
For me, I feel like it was more of like a dirty game, not physical. Anytime there was a tackle, I was kind of cringing and holding back. Just because I know Madison's performances are always personal towards us. And I mean, you're right. I feel like there was so many hits to the head towards Union players, and it just seemed, like I said, personal and dirty.
It's because they kept those assistant coaches.
They kept the assistant coaches. That's why.
There were no airplanes, so I was very happy about that this game. However,
if he's trying not to laugh.
The studs up challenge against Amir in the 12th or 13th minute that received no call. Like, we can all admit Amir embellishes. That is something that
you're not calling him by his real name. What's his real name?
The Bosnian Bullet.
The Bosnian Bullet.
No, he has a new nickname.
The Bosnian Bullet embellisher. But he got a studs up challenge in the 12th or 13th minute that resulted in no card. Like, rewatching that, granted the camera was the worst camera work I've ever seen in a League One game, and that is saying something.
The sad part is that was an improvement.
So my theory is they switched sides of the cameras because their attendance numbers were dwindling. So now you can't see that the side of the stadium's empty. I wasn't there though, so I can't confirm that.
It was pretty empty. There were 50 plus Union Omaha supporters there, which is about half the flock end. Sorry, I don't want to give them bulletin board material.
Yeah.
But
too late.
We have a player on, so they're definitely watching now.
JP, obviously you had a very physical game. You rarely don't, which is one of the reasons why we like you on the pod. But what were your feelings as far as this compared to the previous two seasons?
Well, it definitely was a very physical game compared to the ones we had previous two seasons, but I think that first, like, Madison is kind of a rival for us, and so just that alone obviously is going to make it a pretty intense game. And obviously off a championship season, we're going to have that target on our back, and teams are just going to want to beat us, and they'll do anything to be able to do so, so I don't know. I feel like it's not going to be the first time that we'll see that this season. Like, teams are going to want to get under our skin and be dirty against us, but I think we did well to not react to certain situations in that game.
Sorry, Luke. Based on the performance, it seemed like everybody was very fired up, which was exciting to see. Was there something in the locker room, especially because Madison is sort of a rival, was there something to almost make the new guys fired up about the situation, or was it just because it was the beginning of the season, everybody was pumped up, or what were the discussions for the excitement prior to the game?
Yeah, definitely that. Just first game of the season alone obviously gets everyone excited, even all of us who have already played a few years in this league and for this team. So that alone definitely gets everyone excited. And just like I mean, to be honest, like Madison has a pretty cool environment on game day, so I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys got excited just off of that. And in the warm up, you got people heckling you just for nothing, and so that fires me up for sure. And obviously, like our whole supporter group having a section over there, and that, I mean, that was good to see too. So definitely got a lot of energy just off of that.
I have a question on that. Like, so you guys, as sort of veterans on the team, are you the ones saying like, our fan base doesn't like these guys, or like these guys were jerks to us last year? Like, is there a conversation about sort of the rivalry, or and how does that come about?
Hey, I gotta put one thing here. There's no rivalry with Madison.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
There's hard feelings.
No. There's everything that describes a rivalry, but it's not a rivalry.
I think exactly what Luke said. The commentator, in talking to himself about the game, said a great thing. He's like, in 10, 20 years, these teams are going to remember we didn't like each other first. And I was like, yeah. Wait up. Like, but yeah, I'm curious.
Sorry, JP.
Kind of cut off here, but yeah, to that question, I would say it definitely comes from us, where we're talking to the new guys, saying like how obviously Madison is one of the teams in the league that we kind of like have to be, not just Madison, but obviously the rest of the league. And it comes a lot from the coaches too, just like them giving us the motivation to just go out every single game and do our best, just play our game, I guess. I don't know.
That's fair.
So do we want to move on and talk about the fact that Hugo has now scored his, as Luke already pointed out, he has to buy him a case.
I have to buy him a case, or
yeah,
or whatever he chooses.
His case of Gatorade, if you want.
Route and go Gatorade.
So I think this is what we hope to see as the season continues to build, right? This was beautiful build up to this goal. Ball gets in the box, Noe plays it off, Hugo hits that ball. If he hit it any harder, it was going past the crossbar. He hit everything on the top of that net that he could going in. But what did you guys think of Hugo's first goal?
I screamed out loud because I sat down thinking I was going to watch a 0-0 draw. Like I've watched, 6 other of these games so far, whatever the number is. And like, there's not been a lot of scoring, and like JP, you can cover yours for this one, but like, man, I've never watched a worse Union Omaha game than that one in 2020 in Milwaukee. Like that was like the most god awful game of all time. And then like, very frustrating the last time we played them. So I was like, nothing. And then here we are like 15 minutes in, burying like an incredible chance. And like, we'd looked good so far. And like, so I yelled out loud, which is, not the most popular choice of mine, but it was, I was really fired up. I was really excited.
No, I mean, from being there in the stadium, all of the fans just seeing that, and just JP, you just looked proud after Hugo scored that one. Like, how is it getting this guy who it's his second professional game gets his first goal? How does that feel for you as a 3-year pro for the team?
Yeah, well, with Hugo, ever since he first joined us, you could tell that he's also going to be one of the guys to score a lot of goals for the team. And just for him to get our first goal in the league was, I was really happy for him, really excited, and he was obviously excited as well. And it was a huge goal for us because I think it gave us a lot of confidence early on in the game, like where we knew like this is our game to win, and yeah, I was really happy for him, and he'll definitely score a lot more goals.
He's got an eye for it. the one thing I've seen of his in the 2 games, professional games I've watched of his, non-preseason, there's a little bit of hesitancy, which I feel is just about to go away. And the second that does, he's going to be unbelievably dangerous.
That goal has to help that.
When he finds his selfish gene.
And I think that was the difference in the Madison game with the Des Moines game. You could kind of see like that word alone, just him being a little bit hesitant. You could tell that was the case in the Des Moines game. And against Madison, he was going for it, and he could have scored. Obviously, he missed a pretty big chance, but he could have scored a lot more than just 1 goal.
Yeah, and I think even that initial goal was a great confidence boost. And like you said, just having more experience like that, knowing that even at this level, he'll be able to score if he is determined to do it. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge for the team.
I think the biggest difference I saw with him was in that Des Moines game. He looked like he was going 150 miles an hour, and he was just hyped up to play in his first professional match. Against Madison, all those nerves, all that stuff was gone, and he played his game. And I think that's why he was in the position he was in. He flicked that ball on just right for him. And he just did his thing. He swung his leg and he kicked it out. I mean, I think that was a lot of it.
Hugo's game against Des Moines, also against his old team, like that's a different feeling. And Noe's flick in Madison, that was dirty.
Yeah,
he did him dirty. We need more of that, please.
I had to like rewatch that a few times on the ESPN stream, and I'm just like, how did he make that happen? And just like so perfectly.
Well, I think it's what we talked. I think it's what we talked about last week when we were reviewing the Des Moines match. Is sometimes you just got to do stuff. Like try it. He just tried the flick. If it doesn't go, at least you tried it. Hugo, take a swing at the ball. If the ball goes in, it goes in. Like you got to just start putting a head, a foot, whatever to the ball.
Connor Doyle put a random cross into the box, and it's going to bounce off some guy's head, go into the back of the goal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But I think that's what we talked about was if you start trying things, good things start happening.
Yeah.
Connor Doyle was shooting because Connor Doyle still has not scored.
Yeah. No. But I had said in the first half of that game, Connor was determined to never score for our team. And so he's increasing the level of difficulty. It's like, well, if I bounce it off this guy's head and in, that counts. Someone do that. So that's what we need right now, but I still don't want to score.
I'm okay with Connor never scoring and me never having to buy him a case. Like I'm good with that.
He's old enough to probably have expensive taste.
He's trying to take JP's 25-yard screamer away from him. That's what he's doing.
I mean, JP still owes me that from year one.
One of us is bound to hit it.
I mean, all these other guys have Nick, Christian, Evan. Who else? JP, it's okay. We believe in you.
Okay. The next topic of conversation was heavily debated on our.
Oh yeah. Let's none of us talk about it and ask JP to explain what happened next.
So Madison was given a penalty, and Jepson scored the penalty to equalize. JP, I have to let you know that we had a very healthy debate on our Discord about what happened in this scenario. So from your perspective,
and Ryan's full of trash.
That's fine. You can
this Ryan here is full.
Yeah,
of
I was
trash.
gonna say that's an interesting take to say publicly, considering who was involved. But you know my position on it, guys. So
RYAN.
The big, yeah.
No,
so what was going through your head?
So Ryan got beat on the end line, and
badly.
I'm there to try to cover for him. From what I could remember, I just try to I got on try to poke the ball away. I was on the floor. I for sure I did not touch him. I did not touch him at all. He jumped over, but I don't know. I guess from the ref's perspective, it looked like I tripped him. And to be honest, looking at the highlights, from the video, like it doesn't really help me because it kind of seems like I just trip him, but the guy sold it pretty well, to be honest.
But you can't trust the highlights because you probably don't know what a VCR is, but VCR had better quality than that game.
The one thing I think from the highlights, it doesn't really look like I'm like sliding into a challenge. I kind of stop there and like kind of get on the floor and extend my leg, and he just sort of jumps over it and falls down. And from the highlights, it kind of looks like I took him out, but I didn't touch him at all.
Ryan just disappeared.
From where I was in the stadium, section 101 there in the corner, it looked, you got foot on ball, and it looked as though he jumped and fell and made a very good embellishment of it. From watching it, rewatching it on the ESPN Plus feed, again, it was a little bit blurry, might have been a shot from the grassy knoll. Who knows? But it looks kind of like you went real slow with your move in, which to me, considering I know what that turf feels like, that could have just been bad turf, or however, from a layman's view.
For Madison's ultimate frisbee teams.
So I just wanted, I was on the record for one thing. I thought you got the ball. My argument was anytime in our league that you go to the deck in the box and the ref has a bad angle, we can't expect them not to call a penalty because these refs, I mean, and like you said, even and I was watching on ESPN Plus, so that's the angle I saw. And from where that camera is, we're seeing the back of it. So, and I mean, the guy sold it. He whether he jumped over it or you touched him or not, he sold it well enough that ref believed him. And that was my only argument was if we're sliding in the box, we have the possibility of them calling that call.
Well,
and no VAR to rescue us.
And I'll piggyback that as well. I mean, what I was saying is we all know the refs in this league. And when somebody's running 100 miles per hour towards the goal and anything like that happens in the box, they're going to call it for the attacker. So that's where I'm like, it's going to happen in USL League 1. They're going to call that PK because that person was just running 100 miles per hour. So then they're going to hit an obstacle on the ground. It doesn't matter where it came from, but then the ref's going to be like, that was a foul right there.
It's a broken frisbee.
And from where it happened, I was hoping the linesman would have helped me out a bit. I know Connor went over to argue with him, but he wasn't.
No, that linesman had no pace on him. He was behind the ball almost 100% of the time.
Not the first time that's
really
one, huh?
Like it was bad. The linesman on the far side was significantly better at keeping pace. Still not 100% there, but the linesman on the near side just was at least 15 yards behind the ball for that, which is not.
It's like the time that somebody scored offside on us. Well, whatever. JP. So my contribution to this conversation was very little, and was mostly like I'd not been thinking of it as a penalty you won, but as a penalty Ryan, earned for the team. And so how do you've now taken a small amount of heat from us on that one, but like, how do you, as a veteran leader on the team, talk to a guy who's in his second ever professional match and like second ever, like fifth match as a defender? How do you approach that with Ryan, or do you just let the coaching staff handle it?
I mean, I try not to react in a negative way. Like I wasn't on his case at all after that. I remember before the start of the second half, I was just trying to motivate him because he got beat a few times in that first half, and he was going against a really good winger.
Nebhardt's quality player.
Yeah, he's good, and I was just trying to motivate him, just to give him some confidence, and that's pretty much it. I don't really give any stick to the guys.
Good.
Before we move on to JP's goal to put us ahead, I'm going to tell you, I turned my camera off because I didn't think that my wife's first appearance on a video podcast needed to be her asking me if I turned the sprinklers off outside. So. All right, so
it rained yesterday.
Well, I played sod, so it needs to be very wet.
Did you turn on the sprinklers?
What's that?
Had you turn on the sprinklers?
I turned them off. That's what she wanted to make sure.
Got it. Great.
Don't flood the basement. That's the key, right?
My basement flooded twice yesterday from both directions. Let's just keep moving. Ask no questions.
All right, so stoppage time going into half. JP gets another headed goal. Put us up 2-1 going into the half. Another crucial involvement by Connor, the captain. So JP, let's start with you. What do you remember about that sequence, about the goal, all that?
Yeah, so I remember when Dion had it, he played it back to Ryan, I think, and Ryan swung it over to Connor, and usually, because I'm pretty sure it was off a set piece. Usually when that happens, if the ball gets recycled, I just try to go into the best position where if the ball eventually gets crossed, I'm there to head it. And as the ball goes over to Connor, he kind of takes a big touch and he just floats it in. And I see the center back, Madison center back was like in front of me. And I see the way that like the ball's coming in, I see he's just about to miss it. So I know I'm going to win this header. I just do my best just to keep it on target. And I didn't know the keeper was going to come out for it. So it helped me in the end. And as soon as I headed it, I fell to the ground because the guy like took me out. And I look over, I didn't even know I scored until I see like the ball in the back of the net and the whole crowd is quiet. And
what a feeling.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it honestly, it's one of the few goals that like really pumped me up, to be honest, and went over to the corner and said some things to the Madison fans. But
I'm proud of you, JP.
Oh, yeah, we're all human here. We've all said some things to Madison fans. Madison fans,
the two goals you've had this year just really harken back to something Jay. We watched tape with Jay back in 2020 in a little office in Blackstone, the original pod crew. And Jay then described you as, well, he's not the tallest guy and his foot skill is not so great, but there is nobody better in the air than him. And you're showing that this year. Like your foot skills have gotten better. You're a significantly better player than you were in 2020. But damn, can you still control it in the air?
I gotta say too, if that ball hadn't gone in, I was just watching the replay on my phone. If that ball hadn't gone in and they didn't call a penalty there would have been probably a rush of 50 Omaha fans on the field because that keeper took you out as you headed that. Like 2 fists towards your face took you out.
It didn't even hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just the goal talking.
All right. Second half.
Yeah,
it happened.
It happened. They got their equalizer.
So we have 2 pro soccer players on the field or on the pod right now. Is it me as a, pretty amateur? I thought that was like one of the most technically skilled goals I've seen scored against us. Or was there some sort of defensive breakdown that I just missed?
For their second goal?
Yeah, for their equalizer, yeah.
I think we could have been better defensively. Like we could have prevented that goal from happening. Off the top of my head, I can't really like name any specific action that maybe could have prevented it, but definitely it's something like the coaching staff talked about it. We haven't gone over it on like in film, but they believe it definitely could have been prevented. But just before that, like we were in their half. Joe had it in their corner, and I think he got like double teamed and he had the ball, and one of their guys like just steps on him and fouls him, and that's just before they hit us on the counter and score that second goal. So I think like that was definitely something that could have prevented from them scoring. Like just the referee wasn't too great. He wasn't really helping us out in the second half.
JP, are you saying the refereeing in USL League One is not great?
No, he didn't say that.
Don't answer that, please.
He didn't say that. None of us heard that.
It's almost like what we mentioned is you can expect these calls from USL League One or the lack thereof. Yeah. But I mean, to piggyback onto that, I feel like the goal could have been a lot worse had there been more disconnect, but it was a really quick goal. So I think it was very frantic looking at it from a film perspective. But it also could have been a lot worse because I feel like that was a really good cross as well into the box.
Yeah, I mean, it fell over one of their guys, landed. That striker was right between Dalton and Alex. Alex basically, the best he could do is throw a foot out to try and get a deflection. He found the right space. The ball happened to fall to him, and he took a quick shot. You're right. I mean,
yeah, credits on him.
I guess I just don't remember us giving up a lot of goals. So,
well, I mean,
fair.
It was a shot. I mean, it wasn't like a breakaway. It was a legit shot, and I feel like that's something we don't see a lot. So that's probably why then it's just something new. It was a new thing that we've seen.
I was just like, wait, what just happened? Like, I felt like it wasn't the type of goal that we give up, and I don't know if I could tell you what we do give up. I just felt like it was different, and anyway, I thought I'd ask you guys about it.
I will say, I don't think we would have given that goal up if Joe had been in the midfield.
Joe being stepped on?
Yes. But Joe has shown that he has the defensive capabilities and the speed that he's going to track back and cover spots where we cover guys which might not have the ability to or just the vision to. He seems like he's very good off the ball. That taking him out and then pushing the transition was instrumental in that happening.
So yeah. So match ends 2-2. Do you want to talk about final stats a little bit? Possession
stats don't matter.
Possession stat meant, I know it's a trash stat, but it's also this possession stat we see every game, which is the other team had the ball way more than we did.
Usually win those games.
Yeah. I think the thing that stood out to me the most was the passing difference. And this was from the UO Twitter. You know, they said Madison 80% passing completion. We had 61%. You know, I think anytime that you're
for us, we averaged about 78 last year.
Yeah. And I think anytime you're in the low 60s and passing completion on the road, you're going to have a tough time winning on the road with those types of stats. I also, going back to my first point about it being a physical match, but there's 24 total fouls between the teams, split evenly 12 and 12, but they had 4 yellows, we had 2. So it was, I think that that also shows a little bit of where the mindset was and where things were going.
We're always like, and I think we tend to foul like in that like 8 to 12 times a game, not a lot of yellows. That's sort of our vibe.
Well, JP, you came off the pitch with ice on your ankle. You came off the pitch, subbed out because of an ankle there, which looked like it was a result of a foul that wasn't called. We had at least what looked like 2 bloody noses, luckily not broken, yours and Amir's. These are all uncalled fouls for the most part. I think the one on Amir was called.
Not in our league, no.
How are you feeling?
There were significantly more fouls than 24. And the yellows on their side, whether or not the actual event, persistent infringement was certainly the cause of a couple of those.
Would you say it was persistent? JP, how are you feeling? How's your nose? Let's start there.
Nose is good.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Nose is good. Ankle. So in preseason, literally like the first week, I twisted it, and it obviously it got better over time, and towards the end of the game, it wasn't a foul, but the striker he took a touch in front of me and got his body across, and I kind of took an awkward step and twisted the same ankle. But I'm feeling fine. Like it's a little swollen, but I'm good. It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
That's very good to hear.
Yeah. You're not gonna be like that kid from North Carolina, gutting it out on the field until the last minute of a national championship game.
No.
Do you wanna move on to Tormenta, Luke?
Yeah, I think we've beaten Madison to death on this.
We got 3 more chances to beat them to death.
Just two.
Yeah, no, 3. It's fine. We'll see them again.
No, actually,
they're not going to be in the
4
playoffs. What is this, Open Cup?
No, we have 4 more chances because we have the 2 Special Olympics games where Omaha is playing Madison.
That's where everybody has fun.
2. No, our Special Olympics team is going to beat their Special Olympics team.
Absolutely.
Like, no, Madison, just no.
I want, actually, before we move on, I want to defend this passing percentage here because I know it's a trend, but I was just thinking about it and something dawned on me. We were talking about how Madison was dirty in this game, and we also have been discussing that Union Omaha is heavily a counterattack team. So when you have counterattacks that are your primary form of scoring goals, you're not going to have peak possession. Counterattacks come from defending and then acting upon that defense. So you have to think about that because it's our tactic. I mean, anytime that we were counterattacking, it was energetic. It was intentional more so than the Des Moines game. So I feel like it was definitely a huge improvement, although we didn't see that in the statistics. I was just thinking about that. Like there was something missing with the statistics. Obviously it's not going to show what's counterattack versus passing percentage, but we are heavily a counterattacking team. So I think we built upon our Des Moines performance in Madison. So it was good.
We're never surprised when our possession is in the 30s and 40s on this podcast because that's not our style. That's why possession's a trash stat, because you can have 25% possession but win by 4 goals because you are really good in front of goal and you counterattack really well. So
we can do a little JP data dump here real quick from Fat Mob. 1 player fact: JP won the most duels in the match. 5 for 6 on the ground, 5 for 5 in the air, 2 interceptions, 1 recovery, 2 out of 3 of his tackles, was not dispossessed, 34 touches, and then cover your ears, JP, 55% accurate passing.
Yeah.
But
thanks for bringing the statistic down.
And dragging down the average. So
there is one last thing, Madison, that I do want to bring up. J threw 5 in the back at the end. I feel as though that was very telling, bunkering down on a 2-2 draw. Not something Jay's typical with. But
when we're winning,
do we think do we think we would have done better not running in a 4-4-2? Again, JP, you don't have to answer this, but if you'd like to, I'd love the spice.
Okay, so I think that while we may line up or whatever formation they show, I don't know that we ever truly see us playing in the 4-4-2 mentality, especially as much as Jay likes our fullbacks to push up. And I mean, that's why Joe on the wing has been such a revelation, because it's a lot of coverage, right? Like if Amir's up and Joe's on his side, Joe can fall back and play defense. And so they switch off a lot. So I don't know that we see a true 4-4-2. I have no problem when it's been that kind of a match and the momentum has swung to the home team and you're away. I have no problem trying to get out of there with a point in your first match of the season. We got a lot of soccer left to play. There's a lot of points left on the table.
You know, both the other teams that I follow pretty regularly play the 3-5-2 with 3 center backs and a lot of wing play being covered by their fullbacks. I'm like, I don't know, like it's okay. Like it works really well sometimes, but then like I'm also like Thomas Tuchel, WTF, you just put out like 8 players who play defense and like 4 attacking players. I'm like, I don't know. Like I'd rather I think the opportunity to play more exciting soccer exists with a 4-4-2, personally.
I feel like
Ben,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Luke.
I was just going to tell Ben we're not talking Champions League this week, either of us.
I'm just talking about in the regular league. So yeah, no,
yeah,
man, that was
exactly. I hear you.
It's like I was like this just happened. I can't believe it. And then I was like, okay, never mind.
Do we all live in a yellow
Camille,
submarine, Luke? A yellow submarine?
I feel like we did benefit from that formation, but at the same time, I think what the intention is with our 4-4-2 is to be able to transition into that 3 back, and so the goal, I'm sure, is to work towards that and be able to be able to transition those outside players for both sides. I feel like if we were to keep that 3-5-2 in a set formation, it may hinder us a little bit in what the potential may be in attacking. So that's my thought, is the 4-4-2 is intentional to also be able to transition into that 3 back.
Jay has a type at left back, right?
Yeah.
So I got a question. Do we think
that's what it is?
Like last year, it wasn't until like at least 2/3 of the way through the season before we saw this configuration, like a late game substitution to bring in to change to basically do 5 in the back and salt out a game. Do we think it's indicative of like Jay's changing philosophy? Do we think it's confidence in Gabe? Like we've seen that now in 2 out of 2 games this season. Like what's the
I think it's him. I think it's him growing as a manager in his 3rd professional season leading a team. He realizes that sometimes when you're on the road in this league, you're better leaving with the point than chasing 3. Like, I mean, the difference between making the playoff could be that we got a point in Madison or a point the next, whatever in a different league. I think that there's a lot of that comes up for us. And so I think it's just that growth as a manager where he knows the league, he knows how it's going. He's got to play the game a little bit too. It was a physical match. We were towards the end of it. Luke just pointed out we had 2 guys that got, hit in the face. We had JP that had to come off because of his ankle. I mean, we had a lot of stuff going on, and I think Jay just looked at it and said, I'd rather leave with a point than leave with 0 right now.
Yeah, and I also feel like on top of that, growing in that mentality, but also growing to acknowledge not only you have scouted for a certain formation, but you're also considering the personnel that you have on the team as well and the performance that is being put out. So considering that as well, and that's growth there as well.
Good job, Jay. I think a little bit of it's got to be Gabe too.
Yeah.
All right.
Since
we've already kept JP here for an hour hostage.
Tight 75, a tight 75. If you listen to the pod, he knows.
Well, we still got 10 more to go. We still got 10 more to go at
You
least.
think we can get this done in 10 minutes?
Do you want me to run through these Tormenta stats quick?
Tormenta stats.
Okay, so I'll start with our head-to-head. We've never lost to Tormenta. We've only drawn with them once, and that was in 2020. That's also the last time they scored a goal on us when we drew 2-2. In that time, we've scored 11 on them. So yeah, we have 3 wins, no losses, and a draw. And we just lost our super producer. So I mean, they haven't scored on us since September of 2020, which I believe that was our first match against them?
What, the September 11th game, the Friday night game, the miracle comeback?
That was the 2-2 draw. So our first match was a 2-2 draw, and since then they haven't scored on us. Discuss.
That makes
Does
sense
that stay?
with their trajectory of that team. But if you believe the theory that we caught COVID in Tormenta, then we definitely lost.
Anyway,
in 2020 to Tormenta.
So this season they started the league with a loss to North Carolina FC, but then they turned around and won in the U.S. Open Cup and beat Charleston Battery.
Connor Casey's Charleston Battery.
It's gonna be weird.
They lost to a bunch of elementary school kids. Granted, NCFC did pick up a couple seasoned professionals, but I'm still pretty sure they signed 7 12-year-olds. So
have they moved stadiums? JP, where are you playing on Saturday?
I'm pretty sure in the same place they've always played in.
Yeah, didn't we close that? So we so brutally savaged them in the last ever game at Eric Russell Park. They're playing more games in Eric Russell Park. Makes sense.
Weren't they supposed to play in their new stadium this season?
Yeah, I thought so.
They will be at the end of May.
Okay,
I believe. Their stadium has lights. Their stadium has lights before it has a pitch. They understood the assignment.
Shout out to Bolt Ibis on that one.
Yeah, Bolt didn't want that smoke on Twitter. That's why.
The most online member.
Bill Rael also understood the assignment.
I think it's worth mentioning. We're going against a very different Tormenta side. Tormenta has had a very busy offseason signing a lot of quality talent, including former Union Omaha player,
League One champion, if you will.
Yeah, he did win the league with a team here in Omaha, Tobias Otieng, who I do not believe is currently in the States. So
we know that pain.
Yeah, we know that pain.
Yeah, we are well aware of that pain. We were out in Blackstone on an October night to welcome him. So we thoroughly recognize this. Tormenta, how are we feeling with their current talent? They lost to NCFC, who is a much changed side from last year. Finally understood, like, dropping down doesn't mean you have to be less competitive. But then beat Charleston Battery, who has a solid side. Charleston Battery signed Shaq, didn't they?
Yeah. Shaq Adams, Andrew Booth. I've watched a bunch of Charleston Battery games because I absolutely love Connor Casey. Like, probably one of my favorite MLS players of all time. And they've seemed pretty good. They're not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to San Diego Loyal, but the Loyal seems really good this year. And I don't know. I don't. Now, to be fair on that game, they played at 9 a.m. and it was pretty close. Like, I watched it.
There was what was it, a snowstorm, a tornado, a hurricane? I don't.
I think they call it a drencho when it hits Iowa. I don't know what it was.
Derecho.
Sure.
JP, this is again first time a lot of these guys have played against this team. We didn't pick up anybody else from a League One side, so first time. I guess Alex played for Lansing and North Texas, so he's played against them. Well, Alex Bruce. Sorry, we have 2 Alexes. Need to just refer to them by last names.
Bruce.
And Alex Bruce has two first names, so can't trust him. Just say it.
Hey, the number 1 Alex Bruce fan is in this call right now, so I'm going to need you to calm down, Luke Opperman.
Camille, I didn't know you're such a big Alex Bruce fan.
No. How are you bringing up to the new guys, to the guys new to the league, new to pro, how to play there? You've obviously played at Tormenta now, 5 times, 3 times, 4 times.
Somewhere
Numbers,
between
numbers.
2 and 6, probably.
But no, like for the new guys, I mean, it's going to be their first, I guess, official road trip, not counting preseason, but a lot of it comes from like I said earlier, the coaching staff, like Jay, just giving us the mentality that we're going there and we're going to try to get 3 points. And he always talks about how it's fun to win at home, but it's a lot more fun to win away. So that alone, like that, I remember him saying it the first time, and like that gets me going for away games, and obviously we're going to try to get 3 points this weekend.
I'm just going to say this: if you want to get fans there, Union Omaha is probably not going to be bringing a whole lot of fans to South Georgia. They are giving free tickets to college students that night. Just bring a couple 30 racks, toss them into the crowd. You got yourself 60 fans. Like, you're good.
Stones.
Like when you guys got all those high school kids to cheer for Union Omaha and Greenville.
We did not provide any illicit substances.
I bet
I didn't say that.
From here, I bet we could like a fraternity or sorority or both to go cheer for the guys.
Yeah, I mean,
we
probably
just pay
should.
them.
I don't think we even need to pay them. I bet we could just do it.
I mean,
you all need to know that Evan just missed a header for a second. He just barely missed it this much against Oakland.
Oof.
Evan's pretty warm right now out there in
Played well.
Out there in San Diego.
How many goals has he scored for the Loyal?
2 with an assist.
Okay. So JP, get an assist.
Also start playing wing, because that's where they put Evan. On the wing.
Are you going to end up playing right back at some point this season?
I hope not, but if that's where coach needs me, I'll play there.
Good answer.
Yeah, that is a good answer.
All right, JP's running for local office in your town. Be sure to vote for him.
You don't want to run for office in this state.
Oh gosh, no, we need more people like JP to run for office in this.
No,
like if you want to run for office, let's talk.
Okay.
Let's get some predictions for this.
Pain.
I think we keep the first clean sheet of the season.
Okay.
It's my bold prediction.
I'll go 2-0.
That's what I was thinking. 2-0.
Not enough goals.
Yeah. 2-0.
4, 5-0? What?
I actually. So now that I predicted a clean sheet, I say 3-1 Omaha.
3-1. Okay.
Yeah, that's a weird clean sheet, Ben.
I know. We score 3, but we give up 1.
I would say 2-1 on aggregate, but I'll just go 2-1.
2-1 on aggregate?
That was another Bayern burn.
Don't worry, he's a Dortmund fan, and
they're not in the competition, right? They haven't made it this far right now.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But we didn't choke to Villarreal.
They had the chance to go away on the road, claw back 3 goals, and then give it all away.
Mm-hmm.
To a person who probably should have been in jail a couple times over. No offense.
Don't worry. Riley has not talked League One once tonight, so that's fine.
That's kind of my job.
All right, there's our 10 minutes on Tormenta.
I'll give this 5-1 Union Omaha win.
Woo! Does JP get a hattie?
I think a couple of our rookies are gonna find some fire, and JP's finally gonna get that goddamn 25-yard goal.
There was one scored in Georgia last year, wasn't there? I don't know if Georgia scored it or not, but
no, that was Evan Conway.
2 of them.
Yeah, it was not JP.
That was Evan Conway's like magical hat trick night, right? Where he scored like 3 entirely different goals.
If Jay starts Noe, actually starts him and gives him some veteran assistance up front, whether Kamal or Ricky or Alex, Bruce, I think you see him with a very productive game. Not to say him and Noe or him and Hugo up front weren't fantastic, but I think having someone there to solidify, because he looks finished out there, even as he's only played 2 professional games, but he looks confident. You give him somebody who's willing to feed into that, willing to support him on that, draws more of the defenders out. I think we see a very productive game.
I'll make it quick because I know we're just predicting Tormenta, but I also want to consider that we're going to Chicago very shortly afterwards. So just considering saving potentially some legs. I know it's early in the season, but Chicago's an important game as well, since it's our first US Open Cup. That's just something to consider that's in the back of my head. Could there be changes? Or do you think it's something where we want to continue feeling comfortable in our typical starting lineup that we've seen,
Jay will change one forward and substitute them out 55 minutes into the game.
No, it's got to be 70. It's got to be 75 minutes into the game. No,
he's trying to rotate, so he's going to do it a little bit earlier.
Camille, if it's me, I agree with you. If I'm, that's where you go. You got to play that long game of who do you want? Because we want to give Chicago a game, regardless of what comes out of that. So yeah, either this is very un-Jay-like, which is, do you sub guys out early? Which it was the 81st minute before our first sub in Madison, so that may not ever happen. But do you guys sub guys out early, or do you start 2 different people up top, or start some other people, knowing that? Tormenta's played 2 matches and has scored 1 goal and given up a goal.
It could be a game where we see early subs as well. Considering that could be something that could be potentially a first. I don't know.
I love your endless optimism on this podcast.
Camille, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Are you wearing the kit that I think you're wearing?
From last year?
It looks like, is that a finals kit on your sleeve?
This is a.
Oh, okay. That's what I saw, and I was like, "Is that a kit from the final?" Sorry,
I just pulled it from Dalton's closet. Let's be honest.
There it is. It's definitely the final kit.
Yeah. So I think it's too early in the season to rotate because we're still trying to gel as a team. And I think if you watch the last 2 games, we haven't quite delivered a J Nims approved performance, aka a clean sheet. And so I think it's going to be, I think we see more of what we've seen, which is very, very similar starting lineup. And we're going to see very, very similar starting lineup in Chicago on Tuesday too.
Okay. Here's the question. Chicago starts Shaqiri.
Yep.
Which player is Jay tasking with to give a career-ending injury to Shaqiri?
Alex Touche.
And why is it JP?
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, you should rewind 15 seconds to smile when you said that he would get a play against Shaqiri.
How insane is that though, JP? Two players on their team were playing in Europe earlier this, literally in the fall. One in Germany, one, they're.
I'm hoping they do play against us, because
I want to see you meg one of them.
They've in the biggest stage, and that's who you want to compete against.
Jonathan Bornstein is on their team as well, and probably when you were in middle school, he sent some random country to the World Cup finals as well.
Can we remember who that was?
It was El Salvador. It was El Salvador, Costa Rica, or Panama.
Yeah. Panama? Either way, JP, just remember, if you get fouled, don't go up too quickly because that'll be a red card.
You've been on the pod since then, have you? You know how concerned my child has been about red cards since then? Like, my kid will walk into a room and like something will just happen. She'll be like, Dad, did someone just get a red card? Like, they don't have it that often.
It should have been one.
Well, JP, thank you for coming on. We're super excited that season's off to a great start for you. Wish you a huge amount of luck in South Georgia, Chicago.
South Chicago.
At Soldier Field. Just remember, we will cover for you if you take somebody out. Like, it didn't happen. We didn't suggest it here. Just saying. One last question for everyone. Who gives a hoot?
We do.
JP does not.
Come on, JP. Get in there.
We do.
Yeah.